So we need to talk about Social Security because there are some major moves that are happening right now. We have former President Donald Trump that is talking about cutting and simply eliminating all Social Security income tax on your benefits. We also have Tim Walz, who's the governor or Democratic governor of Minnesota, who is also the potential vice president or upcoming vice president if Kamala Harris wins. Well, he's discussing what his plans were back in 2010 and also what his plans are right now. We also have lawmakers that are talking to the Social Security Administration about potentially using AI or increasing the use of AI to actually bring down costs. And well, we got more reports from others as well. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment. But all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So let's talk about the big news. Potentially seeing an elimination of Social Security income taxes. That is what former President Donald Trump wants. It says right here, Trump wants to stop taxing Social Security benefits. Now, it goes on to say, here's what that could mean for seniors. Well, this is an article from CNN. And I want to touch on this because there's a few things that I think are very important. First off, how are Social Security taxes or Social Security benefits taxed? First off, you don't pay any Social Security income tax until you make over $25,000 as an individual or $32,000 as a couple. Now, here's where most people get this wrong. If you make over $25,000 as an individual, then 50% of your benefits would be taxed, okay? It doesn't mean you pay 50% tax. It means if you make, let's say, $30,000, that means $15,000 of your benefits, those are taxed. And those would be taxed at your normal social or your normal tax rate, okay? Now, if you make more than that, then obviously, things change. But that's what former President Donald Trump is asking for. Here's what Harris's running mate is asking for. It says Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, cut taxes on Social Security in his state of Minnesota. Here's how it differs from Trump's proposal. Now, I want to go over this because, again, these are different ideas, okay, different proposals here. Here's Trump's. It says Trump's plan would be transformative. Federal income taxes on Social Security are based on combined income, which includes your adjusted gross income or your AGI, non-taxable interest, and 1/2 of Social Security benefits. That's the 50%. It says if your combined income is between $25,000 and $34,000 or $32,000 and $44,000 for married couples, up to 50% of your Social Security benefits are subject to tax. For combined income above those thresholds, so over $34,000 as an individual, over $44,000 as a couple, up to 85% of your Social Security benefits would be taxable. Okay? Not 85% tax, up to 85% of your benefits would be taxable. Big difference there. Now, here's why this is such a big deal. This means that roughly 40% of Americans, okay, 40% of Americans who receive Social Security pay federal income taxes. There are 67 million people that collect Social Security benefits, which means about 40% or 27, roughly 27 million people would have to pay a tax. And this is where that would be transformative. Let's just look at this, okay? Says what Trump is proposing would be transformative. Says if enacted, Trump's proposal to exempt Social Security from federal income tax would boost the budget deficit by $1.6 trillion over 10 years. Now, here's why this is a problem. Because if we do not bring in more money, okay, bring in more tax revenue, then the Social Security insolvency date actually moves up. Let me show you how much. It says for Social Security, including the disability portion of the program, it may move insolvency up 2 years. So instead of Social Security becoming insolvent in 2035, it would become insolvent in 2033. As for Medicare, it may move it up by 6 years from 2036 to 2030. That is a huge, huge problem. Now, do I think this passes? No. I don't think this passes. I don't think former President Donald Trump expects something like this to pass. But it's a good start. Now, this is what Minnesota's targeted exemption looks like. It says enacted in 2023, Minnesota's expanded the state tax exemption for Social Security, which eliminates the levy for most seniors. So, for 2023, taxpayers with less than $78,000 AGI or $100,000 for married couples jointly can subtract Social Security benefits from earnings. Okay, this is their targeted exemption. It says the policy, which exempts most seniors from income taxes on Social Security, helps Minnesota mirror other tax codes. It says as of June 21st, only 9 states tax Social Security to varying degrees according to AARP. It says Minnesota's policy was targeted and the revenue cost was significantly lower than Trump's proposed federal tax exemption. It says states can make this play and it has different revenue, cost, and budget ramifications. So again, all states are different. Now, here's what I think is very interesting though. Both people, Tim Walz, okay, the Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate, he is proposing, or he has passed a bill in Minnesota to eliminate this tax. Okay, again, targeted exemption. Former President Donald Trump, same thing, but again, eliminate the tax entirely for the entire United States. So again, it's a big difference here, but the key is both people are talking about the same thing: eliminating or reducing Social Security income taxes. So again, that is huge. Now, here's where we need to go from here. It's a little bit of a problem. Social Security benefits will get a cost of living adjustment, but there's a big problem for retirees. The problem is the cost of living adjustment is likely going to be less than what our current inflation rate is. Again, that's a problem. But how do we fix this? Well, a simple solution is to eliminate Social Security taxes. And then you don't have to pay the tax, which means you have more money going into your pocket. Here's the other one. Senators are asking Social Security for info on AI work. It says though the Social Security Administration has been using artificial intelligence tools in some form for 2 decades, the lawmakers stress the need to engage the public as it explores new technologies like generative AI. Now, we're not going to get into generative AI, we're not going to get into all the hoopla here, but the key is they are looking at ways to bring in artificial intelligence to not only speed things along, but to eliminate some excess costs, which could mean layoffs for the Social Security Administration, but it would increase the timeline where you go and ask for your benefits versus the time that you actually get them. So again, this could be a big benefit to the Social Security Administration, could be a huge benefit to all Social Security recipients, because this could mean your checks are coming quicker, they're more efficient, which also means there's less waste, which we could push more of that money over to the Social Security Trust Fund. So again, we'll see what happens there. Now, here's the last thing I want to read to you. It says Walz in 2010 said plan to curb Social Security, increase retirement age was very similar to his approach. Now, I'm not going to go through this entire thing. For one, you'll probably get very bored, but Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, said back in 2010, he was doing a speech. Kind of see it right here. It says Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, said in 2010 that his plan for Social Security was very similar to the one that would increase the retirement age and adjust the cap on withholdings. Now, who was he agreeing with? Well, it was actually Steve Wilson. It says Walz, the Democratic candidate and incumbent, faced off against independent candidate Steve Wilson and Republican Randy Demmer. It says Wilson laid out his plan first, which he said, where's it at? Here's Wilson, the independent candidate, answered first. Social Security is one that we can fix, and we just have to put on our thinking of what we're going to have shared sacrifice. There are 3 different groups of people that are affected by Social Security. 1, the group that are paying in. 2nd, the ones that are ready to retire. And 3rd, the ones that are receiving benefits. Wilson said that paying into the program currently have caps on the amounts taken out of their paychecks. If we would allow that to go higher, so again, increase the cap here, then we could bring more revenue in. So essentially what he's talking about is increasing the Social Security tax cap, which means that if you make $400,000, $1 million, $6 billion a year, you would still be taxed the 12.4% on all that money. That's what he's talking about, increasing the cap. Okay? It says if we allow it to go a little bit higher, then we could bring in more revenue. I read that. Wilson then said the retirement age should be raised. That is what Steve Wilson said. It should be raised. It says if we look at the second group, those who are retiring, if we adjusted that retirement age a little bit and give people enough warning, remember, shared sacrifice, not just you getting affected, everybody. Wilson then said the individuals getting benefits from Social Security would have cost of living adjustments that need to have a little adjustment to bring in some savings. Now, this is the big one. It says socials, when Tim Walz when it was his turn to talk, he endorsed Wilson's plan. So the exact plan I just read. It says Social Security is absolutely critical. It is the greatest anti-poverty program the world's ever seen. So he simply agreed with what Steve Wilson was saying. But again, the big picture here is things have changed over the last 14 years. According to reports, let me show you this. It says the source said that after winning his race in 2010, Walz went on to oppose plans to raise the retirement age. So he agreed to raise the retirement age, but yet once he won, he opposed it. Just went back on his word. Okay, sounds like a politician to me. Anyway, in 2012, he voted against raising the age to 68. In 2012, he voted against raising the age to 70. And in 2014, he again voted against raising the retirement age to age 70. Now, according to experts, they say there has to be a few things that are done. Number 1, we have to increase the Social Security tax cap. That needs to be done. Number 2, we need to reduce waste in the Social Security Administration. Number 3, we likely have to raise the full retirement age. Past age 68, or 67. Maybe we go to age 68. According to reports, it will likely be age 69. Most likely not 70. So we'll see what happens moving forward, but I just wanted to share this with you because I know a lot of people are asking what's going on with Social Security. At this point, there's a lot going on, but we still have very little answers because, again, we have an election coming up in less than 3 months, and that election will likely dictate the path that we take moving forward. So, as we get more information on this, I promise I will bring you all the latest news and updates, but as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.